Can you hear me?
Good to see all you guys. Okay, got it. Cheryl. Yeah, so it's going to be a brief meeting this morning. I've got a few things that I want to bring up. Michael probably has a couple things. We'll see if Mickey has something. And of course, if any of y'all have something you want to talk about, feel free. About 10:45, we're going to bring in a guest speaker. He's a guy, his name is Liam, and he's a salesperson for a developer that's building a new condo complex here in New Braunfels. I don't really know anything about it. He just called me and said, "Hey, can I get in front of your, some of your agents to tell them about this new condo complex?" I don't know where it's at, but obviously, if it's in New Braunfels, which it is, then it's something that we should know about just in case we have buyers looking. I don't know what stage they're in or whatnot, but he'll be chiming in at 10:45 for a quick 10 or 15 minute presentation on his development, and then we'll wrap it up in under an hour. But just going down my list of things that I wanted to talk about. I wish there was some more people here, but I think the people that are here, everything I got to talk about is going to be relevant. So the first thing is just I want to remind everybody about the importance of ensuring that our contracts are filled out properly. Any documentation, right? No matter if it's a contract, if it's an IABS, if it's a buyer's rep agreement, if it's a referral agreement, but just keep working hard to make sure that everything is filled out properly. Most of these forms that we're dealing with are legally binding forms, and we have a duty to make sure that they're filled out correctly and properly. That we're not marking things out and putting in things that we shouldn't be putting in. Obviously there are times where that's necessary, but if you feel like it's questionable whether or not you can add something or take away something, be sure to get with me and let's talk about it. There's lots of things that can be added, but I think that one of the biggest problems comes when we try to cross things out. Like we have a buyer or a seller who says, "I don't want that to be part of the contract. Can we cancel that?" Well, that's where we really have to be careful in making sure that we're not, modifying these forms that TREC or TAR is putting out. There's a reason that they put them out like they do. They put them out like they do to cover us and to keep us protected and to keep us from, acting in a way that only an attorney should act. So usually that's the answer. If you have a client or buyer or seller, whatever, that wants to make a change, we don't necessarily have to say that changes can't happen, but most of the changes we can't be a part of. We need to bring in an attorney, and oftentimes the seller can or the client can make the changes on their own. But again, if there's something that you're not sure about, let me know. The ultimate goal of ours should be to make sure that these contracts are number one, completely filled out with the correct information and clean. We don't want too much marked out and X'd out and initials and all that. If you get to the point to where there's you haven't executed the contract and there's just so many changes that need to be made, just start over and redo the contract. Just keep them as clean as you can, keep them as as filled in as you can, and don't be afraid to let one of us take a look at them, whether it be me, Mickey, Michael, or an experienced agent. You're somebody that just get a second set of eyes on there to make sure that you didn't miss something that could be an issue. The reason that I bring this up is because recently I've seen a couple of contracts that have been executed, they've been receipted, they've been, the lender's working it, the title rep is working it. Who knows who else is working this contract, but yet there's mistakes on that contract that we missed. Both our agents, other agents, and it's because they weren't checked properly. So Even if you notice that the other agent on the other side has makes a mistake on the contract, maybe it's a spelling issue, or something just wasn't filled in, don't be afraid to bring it up to that agent. Say, hey, we need to get this fixed. Don't be afraid to fix it yourself and send it back to that agent for correction. So again, just a reminder, most of you guys are doing great, and most of you guys are pretty good about sending in your contracts to let somebody review them. So keep that up, and just remember that these are legal binding contracts, and we have a duty to do the best we can with them. If and when something goes south and TREC gets involved or attorneys get involved, it goes to court, the first thing they're all going to do is ask for these contracts, and if we give them a contract that's not complete and looks like trash, then it's going to be an issue. So keep on that. Another thing I wanted to mention is mailboxes. I know, previously we had a set of mailboxes at the downtown office. We're actually going to be setting that up again at the Gruene office, just because we're getting, lots of mail items, whether it be checks or things from title companies, or, letters from clients, closing gifts, things like that. We're going to go ahead and set those mailboxes back up here at the Gruene office. So everybody will have their own box, just to keep things a little more organized. Another thing I wanted to talk about real quick is recruiting. Obviously, that's been something that Michael and I have been working on. Over the last few months, we've got some new agents. Everybody knows that we've grown now to 30 agents. We are still looking for a few more. If you know anybody that's interested in joining, we do offer a recruiting bonus of $1,000 paid at their first closing. That's not a Zillow, Realtor.com, Redfin type lead. So I know I just paid out Glenn $1,000 for bringing in Mr. Paul. Paul got his first closing with us. Congrats to you, Paul. And I've got a few other agents that have come on, have been brought on by other agents that I'll be paying out that $1,000. So if you know anybody looking to make a change, now's kind of the time of the year that agents start thinking about making a change. Towards the end of the year, the beginning of the year, we're coming up on all that holiday time and things like that. Businesses, might slow down just a bit. So this is kind of the time that we see people making that change. So be on the lookout. If you have a friend or an agent that you worked with that you liked, shoot them a message and see if they're interested in joining. Tell them how great it is. Again, we'll pay $1,000 at their first closing. Some of y'all have probably heard via email from Cheryl Gates. Cheryl's been helping me just a little bit doing some housekeeping things as far as compliance, with the IABSs and email signatures, Facebook pages. So it sounds like things are going well and she's making some progress. So I appreciate everybody, being helpful and you just know that if she does reach out to you, she's doing it for me, and she's doing it to help us become compliant. There are a lot of us, including myself probably, that aren't doing all the things that we need to do when it comes to advertising, whether that be our Facebook pages, our websites, our email signatures, things like that. TREC has some specific rules that we all need to follow. At the end of the day, the chances of TREC, having an issue with something like that, it's probably not going to happen unless there's a problem, unless somebody reports you or there's an issue. But it's better to be safe than sorry, and just let's make sure that everything is squared away. If you've got a social media page that you advertise yourself as a realtor, you advertise your services, you advertise your listings, things like that, then those particular types of social media sites must include the proper disclosures. If it's a personal social media page, and you're not advertising yourself as an agent, you're not promoting your business, then it's not necessary. But I know most of us are probably using our social media pages to advertise, and that's great. But just make sure that they're all squared away. If you have questions about what needs to be done and what you need to show or what you need to do, get with me or get with Cheryl, and we'll help you get squared away to keep everybody out of trouble. Speaking of social media, we're trying out a program. It's like an office communication type program. It's called Slack. It's like a messenger, an office messenger. They've got an app. There's an app for the phones. There's an app for the computers, and it's just a way for fellow business people to communicate. We're trying that out. I'm trying to move away from our Facebook page. We've got some people that don't use Facebook. And to be honest with you, I'm trying to kind of steer clear of Facebook right now. So my plan is to, at some point over the next few weeks, to start bringing other people on. Right now, Nikki and Michael and I are kind of experimenting with Slack, messaging back with each other and just kind of getting, the idea of how to use it. And it's a pretty good program. There's different rooms and different topics that you can click on, and like there might be a topic called contract help or something like that, where if you've got a question about a contract, you can log in and type your question there. And I'm not trying to replace, I'm not trying to make it to where you're not able to call or text Michael and I directly. It's really just a replacement for the Team MidCity Facebook page. I'd like to, by the end of the year, shut that down and move everything over to Slack or a program similar to Slack if we find something that's better. I just think, it's going to be a little more professional. And again, there are some people that don't use Facebook, and I don't want to force anybody to use Facebook. I don't even want to use Facebook myself, to be honest with you. And I may not, be on it for long. But so be on the lookout for that. We may send out an email in regards to the Slack program. Again, there's an app for your phones. It seems like it's pretty good software. So be on the lookout for that. One last thing that I got. What time is it here? We've got 20 minutes. Cool. One last thing that I got is, and we've had a lot of problems with this lately. Is talking to your clients about exclusions, fixtures. When it comes to whether you're working with a buyer or you're working with a seller, it's really important to have a conversation early on during escrow about what's going to be included with the home that they're purchasing or selling and what's not. Obviously, if it's a seller, you want to have that conversation before you sign a listing agreement. In regards to things like TV mounts. If you're walking through their house getting ready to take photos, ask them questions about these fixtures in their homes. Hey, are you okay with conveying these TV mounts? Are you okay with conveying these cameras? Are you okay with conveying these curtain rods and these curtains, the chandelier? Just let that be on your radar. If you're not, well versed and educated in when it comes to fixtures, non-realty property or things like that, study up. Make sure that you're really familiar with all that so that you can educate your clients, whether they be a buyer or a seller. I recently had a situation where my seller client sold their house pretty quickly, packed up everything on a truck, and the truck took off to New York, gone with everything. Well, buyers get into the house and realize that the curtains were gone. They were the type of curtain that was, kind of custom to the windows, and the buyers were like, well, hey, those should have stayed. Where are they? Of course, I get with my seller clients and they're like, oh, sorry, they're already, shipped out to New York. There's no way we can get those back. So, at that time we had to come up with a solution, and, that involved basically paying the buyers for those curtains. And it wasn't cheap, but there's been other situations too, with, TV mounts and cameras, and just make sure that what stays, what shouldn't stay, not only for your buyer, but for your seller. There's actually a neat little cheat sheet that I think the Texas Association of Realtors put out that lists most of the items that you could think about, toilets, refrigerators, and kind of classifies all these different items as either fixtures or non-fixtures, things that need to go on a non-realty addendum and things that don't. So I'm going to find that sheet, and we'll get it emailed out to everybody. And I think it'll be helpful. But again, if there's ever anything that you have that you question, just call somebody, call me, call Michael. Let's get down to the bottom of it so that nobody is surprised when it comes to closing. Let's see what else. I mean, there's even things like, I know I read recently about a lawsuit over a fireplace screen. A fireplace screen is something that that kind of covers your fireplace to keep the embers from popping out into your living room and setting your bare rug on fire. This particular fireplace screen was very expensive. It had like art. It was just, it was like thousands of dollars. Well, in the particular state that this happened in, the buyers at the end of the deal, the buyers noticed that the screen was gone, and they felt like that was a fixture of the home that should have been conveyed and should have stayed. And the particular state that they were in, I believe a judge agreed, and it just, again, it turned into a whole situation and didn't have to be. Those things could have been talked about in the beginning, but again, we have to educate our buyers. We have to educate our sellers. You can have the savviest seller that you've ever been around, and they still may not be familiar with what will convey and what will not convey. So it's really important to have those conversations. They're going to look to us to be the expert. So if you're not the expert, let's become the expert. And again, we're going to get something out on all that via email that might be helpful. But always call if you have a problem, if you have a question about it. Okay, I think that's really all I got. Michael, anything on your list of things that you want to talk about?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Good morning. It's good to see everyone here that could make it. I appreciate you guys doing it. I know most of you are really busy out there. As you can see, I'm in my favorite office this morning instead of my usual four-wall office. I prefer this one much better. I feel like I get more work done out here than I do anywhere else. But just wanted to take a few minutes and talk to you about one thing that I think is really important that we're need to stay on top of, and that's in our Zillow leads. The Zillow leads, the Redfin leads, the Realtor.com leads, all those leads are going directly in the follow-up boss and being assigned to a lender. I think most everybody on here does a really good job of connecting to that lender. One thing that I think is very important when you're in a conversation with the potential buyer is, number one, be enthusiastic with that buyer. They're already excited about a property. And if you don't have that same level of enthusiasm or matching their level or taking it up another level, you have such a small window to connect to them that if you're not careful, you could lose their attention or their gaze because you don't carry that same level of enthusiasm. And part of that enthusiasm is helping them understand the importance of connecting with a lender. Right now, the last thing we want to be doing is showing properties to anybody that is not pre-qualified. It is such a waste. It's always a waste of time, but it's even more so now. So be mindful in how you approach that. In that initial conversation, be sure to remind them. What I typically do is I say, hey, just so you know, at the same time I received your information, Ryan Jett or whoever that lender may be, or Clint Walker received your information. They're going to be giving you a call. Expect that call. And after you get off the phone, send that lender a text and say, hey, I just got off the phone with this particular buyer. I want you to know, reach out to them. They're expecting a call. It's important for us to bring that relationship together because these guys help us do what we do to provide more leads for everybody. I think most everybody on here does a good job at that. And at the end of the day, if somebody tells me that they've already got a lender, I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to do everything that I can do to put them with somebody that's going to do the job better than who they think is going to do the job for them. These guys are very skilled in connecting with these potential buyers, and very skilled in walking them through the process. Because at the end of the day, when people are talking to you, they're looking for somebody who's going to lead them through the process. So in that initial conversation, you've got to remind yourself, I am the expert. I am the leader. I'm the person who's going to open the door, lead them through the door to get them potentially the keys to the door, because that's what they want. And your enthusiasm and your excitement in that process is really going to help capture that buyer and want them to lock onto you on another level, because you care about their needs. You care about, where their grandchildren are going to spend time, or their children are going to grow up, where they're going to play in a backyard. Those things matter to people. When they know how much you care, they're going to connect with you on a whole nother level. And I think most everybody does a great job of that. Just wanted to continue to encourage you in that area. Also with the follow-up boss and the Zillow, they have great videos that are going to help train you. If you'll take the time to watch, pick one a week and just make a decision to watch that video a couple times a week, ingrain it into your everyday activities. It's going to make you connect with buyers on a faster, quicker level and help you close more deals. And at the end of the day, if we're not closing, if we're just running around all over the place, and I know many of you feel that way at times, and you just feel like you're hitting that wall, eventually that wall is going to come down. You just got to keep pushing, and things are going to happen for you. We've all been in this business where we get discouraged, we feel overwhelmed, we feel like, I thought this deal was going to happen and it's falling through, or that deal was going to happen and it's falling through. But if you keep pushing, eventually it's going to give back to you. So again, we get discouraged. That's why we have such a good team of people around us. Don't hesitate. If you're feeling like you're going down into that deep, dark real estate hole, reach out to somebody, because as a show of hands, how many of us have been in that hole? Should be everybody. And I can assure you that you're going to be in that hole again. So just keep doing what you need to do to keep yourself encouraged, so that you don't go so far down in that well that you can't see the light. And just remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. So eventually you're going to overcome any obstacle that's in front of you if you stay encouraged and you stay focused and you keep moving forward. And I'm grateful that we have such a great team of people. Sorry, my phone's ringing. Hold on a second. I'm grateful that we have such a great group of people around us that have such positive attitudes. It matters. It matters when you wake up every day believing in yourself, believing that you're gonna accomplish the goals at hand today. Because if you don't believe that, you won't step into that next level. But if you continue to believe in yourself, believe in those around you, believe that you've got everything that you need to give that buyer the best experience possible, then you're going to sell more homes. You're going to reach more people. They're going to tell more people about you. And I believe everybody on this screen and most of our team is doing the right thing, but I think it's learning to be consistent in our level of enthusiasm and excitement for helping people get the keys to the house. So those training videos on Follow Up Boss, those training videos on Zillow, anything that Chad and I can do to help you guys do a better job connecting with a lender, connecting them with a builder, whatever you need, we want to make sure that we're providing that for you. So don't hesitate to shoot us a text, give us a call. I think most of you on this screen know that. It really is our desire to see you guys meet your goals and exceed your goals. And it's important to remember to keep those goals in front of you. Those are the things that are going to help push you beyond your own self limits, because at the end of the day, sometimes we really do limit ourselves, and we've got to not allow ourselves to be limited by our own faults, our own insecurities. just thinking back this morning myself, when I first started in this real estate game, one thing that I had down was I've always had the ability to win people over, and I've always had the ability to communicate well with people. One thing I was lacking was the understanding of how everything else worked. And it took me some time to get that figured out. So don't hesitate to get the encouragement or get the training or anything that you need from us. We're here to help you. We want you to be successful. And we're very grateful for all of you. Just looking at all your beautiful faces this morning just encourages me. I know we don't get to see each other all at the same time very often, but you guys are doing a great job. Stay the course. And remember that you're the leader that's helping people make their dreams come true. So, did you lose me?
Oh, no, thank you, Michael.
Okay.
Yeah, is that it, Michael?
Yep, that's all I got.
Oh, that was enough. That was plenty. Good, great advice. And obviously, it doesn't matter if you're working a Zillow lead, a Realtor.com lead, one of your own personal leads, a referral. Maybe you're working with a family member. It's still good advice. Still, do your best to show enthusiasm and show people that you're a professional. Everybody, there's a lot of folks out there that have different opinions of the real estate industries and realtors and how we conduct business. So we have to show them that we're professional and that we're eager to help them. And again, like Michael said, most of us are doing a great job. We don't have a problem. We got a lot of great personable people that do a great job. I was talking to a buyer of ours. We had a little issue, nothing on our fault, nothing necessarily on our end. It was one of Tracy's deals. I was talking to the buyer, and he kept bringing up the fact that how much he loved working with Tracy, how great she was, how helpful she was, how upbeat she was. He kept saying that over and over, and I thought that was awesome to hear. And I know that we have a lot of great agents that are doing a lot of great things for our clients and being super helpful. So keep that up, and anything you want to get done as possible, it's up to you. And we're here to help you, and we'll all help each other too. That's one of the great things about our team, I think, is that we're all pretty helpful. Nobody's necessarily trying to be competitive with each other, and everybody's willing to help when we can, and everybody's doing a great job. This year, we're going to have more people capping out than ever before. I think we'll probably end up with 7-8 people. I know Emily just capped out, which is awesome. We're hardly halfway through the year, and I think we already have 5 people that have capped out. It really doesn't take much, especially in this market. When I first got into real estate and the average sales price was a little bit lower, it took a few more, but these days average sales price is practically 350, 400 almost. So it really doesn't take that many transactions to cap out. Sometimes less than 10, you can cap out. We've had agents obviously cap out quicker than that with just 3 or 4 high-end deals, but our hopes obviously is that everybody caps out and takes takes advantage of that 100% commission. But again, I think Emily, Lisa, Justin, Brooke is getting really close to capping out. Who am I missing here? I think Glenn is capped out.
Shelly
Shelly
is
Shelly capped?
close, yeah.
Okay, cool. A lot of people getting close, and there's still a lot of the year left. Several months of the year left. Obviously, we're getting closer and closer to that holiday season where typically things tend to slow down a little bit. But I honestly don't think we're going to see much of a slowdown. I say that every year. There were a few years, 2016, 2017, 2018, where I saw a significant slowdown during the winter months. But over the last couple of years, I'm not seeing that as much. A lot of people are, using that time to find, what they think is going to be a better deal. They think there's going to be less competition. Buyers and sellers, oh, I'm going to wait till the winter time and I'm going to buy then when the market is, slower. But I don't think we're going to see much of a slowdown this year. So still plenty of opportunity for everyone to keep at it and keep selling houses and get capped out. And, what do we got? September, October, November. Yeah, still a good, almost 4 months of the year left. So let's keep at it. And what else? All right, we got about 10 minutes till Mr. Liam is going to chime in. Does anybody out there have anything they want to talk about? Maybe they had an experience out there they want to talk about. Maybe they walked in on somebody naked in the home when they were showing, or I don't know. Somebody's always got a good story like that. Anybody got a story? All right. If somebody didn't chime in, I'll have to make one up. I've got a lot of stories. A lot of them are long, but I won't get into it right now. But what I will get into is we've got one of the lenders that we're working with, Clint Walker. We're planning something with him where he's going to come down and he's going to do some classes with us. Clint Walker, he's a mortgage lender, very personable guy, been in the mortgage industry for a few years now. He works really hard on, bringing in leads, converting leads. He's learned a lot. He uses a lot of different programs. He uses Philip Dialer. Hang on a minute. Sorry, everybody still there?
Yeah, we could hear you. We just couldn't see you.
Cool. He's got a lot of good resources that he's going to share with us. In regards to getting buyers, getting sellers, converting leads. So that's going to be probably going on next month in October. We're going to have to find a place that we can meet, a conference room or a restaurant or something where we can meet for a couple of Tuesdays throughout the month for a couple of hours and let Clint kind of teach us some things. And we're going to try to do some things like that this winter time to, so if anybody has any ideas, if there's something in particular that you would like to learn about, I know I mentioned last meeting that we were going to try to work on bringing in somebody who might give us some tips on listing appointments and converting listings and things like that. And I still am working on that. Hopefully we can get something put together soon. We'll give everybody enough heads up to where they can show up and be part of that if they want to. But what else? Anybody think of a story yet?
I don't have a story, but I have a question.
Okay.
I'm sure most of these other more experienced agents have already dealt with it and know how to deal with it, but I don't. We're told to always ask if somebody's got an agent working with them. And I had a lead where the girl called me. Her parents had apparently talked to an agent, and I didn't know that at first. But I had, set up an appointment, and then I remembered, oh, I forgot to ask her if they had an agent. When I called her back, she said, well, my parents have been talking to an agent. They're like they were in Washington or someplace. And so I said, well, I don't think then that I can work with y'all. You probably need to have that agent set up the appointment. And she was kind of like disappointed. She was like, oh, I'm sorry, it didn't work out. I would have liked to have worked with you or whatever. Was that the right thing to do? What's this, and then I think I'm going to try to take I think it's Follow Up Boss. One of them is doing a class on how to argue that point, but are we supposed to argue that point? Like, I don't know how to deal with that.
It depends. Great question. It's something that we all deal with, obviously, on a regular basis, especially with internet leads, a new lead that we're not familiar with the person. What I always tell people to do is, obviously you want to ask that question right away, but before you show them a home in particular, hey, and I always say, are you committed to an agent? There's a difference between Have you talked to an agent or two? But have you committed to them? Have you signed a buyer's rep agreement? Do you intend on, purchasing a home with a particular agent? If that buyer client says to you, well, my parents talked to a couple of agents, but we haven't committed to anybody. We didn't sign anything. Well, then they're fair game. And now on the other hand, if they say, yes, we've signed a buyer's rep agreement, we're viewing homes, we're working with someone, that's probably the time that you really don't want to get involved. If they sound like that they're absolutely committed to an agent, and this agent has already been helping them, this agent is continuing to help them, this agent has a buyer's rep agreement with them, that's when you should probably leave it alone. But dig into it, ask questions. Have you signed a buyer's rep agreement? Have you seen houses with that agent? Have you, are you committed to that agent? How is that agent treating you? Dig into that, ask those questions, because they may say, well, we did see one house with this guy named Jeff, but, he showed us that one house and we haven't heard from him since. We didn't sign anything. But we're still looking to buy. Well, in that case, that particular buyer is free game. They're we're free to get in there and hopefully make them our client. And what I usually say is, well, hey, if you're not committed to an agent, let's meet up. Let me show you this house and let's meet each other and see if we're a good fit. So again, Julie, to answer your question, I would go back to that person if I was you and dig in a little bit more and find out if there's an opportunity there or not. Because especially by now, there may be a situation to where that particular buyer is not getting treated properly by the agent that they were working with. But again, if they've signed a buyer's rep agreement, if they're committed, leave it alone. We're not looking to steal another brokerage or another agent's clients. We don't want to get involved in that. But there are plenty of ways, to get involved. Just ask those questions.
You can always ask too, are you satisfied? Or, if for some reason you're not satisfied or unhappy, I'd be honored to help you, but you're going to need to talk with that agent's broker about breaking the agreement. Yeah,
good thing to bring up, Glenn. Thanks for that. Looks like Glenn's with us. But I would say, if in doubt, let's talk about it. Call me, call Michael. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the situation and figure out the best way to approach it. Obviously, we want to pick up as many buyers and sellers as we can, but we do have ethical standards to go by. We don't want to get in the way between another agent and their client. But we also want to make sure that if it's a possibility that we can get in there and take good care of that buyer, then let's do it. We all know that we'll take better care of them than anybody else around here, right? So again, it just depends on the situation, So I would say, Julie, if I didn't answer your question, let's talk about it some more later. Give me a shout, and let's go through it all and maybe come up with a plan to maybe convert that. Okay. All right. It looks like we got Glenn joining us and Mr. Liam. Liam, you there?
Yes, sir.
Cool. Thanks for joining us this morning. I kind of already gave everybody a heads up and kind of a general description of what you'd be talking with us about, but I'm going to go ahead, if you don't mind, just kind of turn it over to you and let you introduce yourself and tell us why you're here.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, Chad, thank you for having me, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to present our new condo project that is in New Braunfels. Before we continued, would you like me to kind of control the slides, or would you like Mickey to do so?
You don't mind. To be honest with you, we didn't really have the time to get set up in regards to slides, and
okay,
you handle it.
Yeah, I can go ahead and
Liam, I've got it. I can share my screen. Just tell me when to move forward.
Perfect. Awesome. Okay. So, first of all, guys, happy to be here, and thanks again, Chad and Mickey, for the opportunity. So I represent a builder here in New Braunfels. It is the GBMC development team. And we are now putting on a new condo project called Yaupon by Agave. Yaupon will be a 21 unit condo community in the heart of New Braunfels. It's going to have a full set of amenities, and pricing, to give you a general idea, is going to be from 275-ish to 400. So a price point that we feel strong about, and something that that can be somewhat attainable for some. We do follow a successful sellout of our previous project, which was Agave Lofts, where 8 units sold, and it's nice to keep that momentum going. So let's go to the next slide, please. So you guys, I'm sure y'all are familiar with New Braunfels. There's so much bringing people to New Braunfels, so many attractions. Also, the real estate market is on absolute fire. So everybody from Austin and San Antonio who may not be able to afford or find housing there are moving to outside areas. That's why Kyle, Buda, New Braunfels are really growing. And let's move to the next one. So Yaupon is going to be located in the Town Creek community of New Braunfels. Town Creek is a 65-acre mixed-use neighborhood. So when I say mixed use, there's going to be retail stores, restaurants, there's a bakery, a mortgage office, a CPA. So there's many retail spots, and also, of course, residential living options such as condos, single family homes, and also townhomes. So it's a great spot. There's currently a bridge that's being built in the back of the community that will give Town Creek residents access to New Braunfels, which is a great amenity. Yeah. So here at Yaupon, here's a rendering of what kind of the physical design and layout will be. Like I mentioned, there's going to be 21 units, in which 18 are going to be strictly residential units, and there's going to be 3 live work units. So live work, a purchaser is going to be able to combine the residential living and commercial space in one unit. We feel the backbone of our project is bringing modern architecture with custom home-like interior finishes. We feel that we are the first to do so in New Braunfels, and we really wanted to push for modern architecture and really quality of life. Also being so close to downtown, that's a huge plus for us. So here you can take a look at our amenities. We feature a resort style pool, an off the leash dog park, which will be 25 by 25, so 500 square feet, and an outdoor summer kitchen, which is a fancy way of saying 2 barbecue grills and a bar area. One neat thing about the amenities is, as you can see, they're nestled in between 2 buildings, which is nice for privacy and some well-needed shade, because it is 2,000 degrees right now. So that's a nice touch. And thank you. And here's a site map. Here's an overview of the project and the layout. We're going to have 3 buildings. It's going to be our building A, which is in the middle, the big one, and the 2 buildings on the left side. So our main building will feature 1-bedroom flats on the first floor and 2-bedroom lofts right above on the next 2 floors. The other 2 buildings are going to be commercial storefronts on the bottom floor and 1-bedroom lofts on the next 2 floors. So obviously the residential building will be facing the amenity center, whether it's overlooking the pool, the outdoor kitchen, or the dog park. That's personal preference and, of course, availability. There are 33 assigned parking spaces in our project, each home purchaser gets one parking space with the opportunity to buy additional space on the side. So like I had mentioned before, we'll kind of zoom through this. One reason is because we are sold out of our live works. We really wanted to bring that flexibility to somebody with maybe a smaller boutique style business who could live where they work and maximize and make their work life more efficient. So we really envision anywhere from a coffee shop, hairdresser, apparel store, a CPA. So that's the reasoning behind that. Here's a rendering of our storefront. As you can see, large windows, tall ceilings. There will be 10-foot ceilings. So nice exposure to a business. One of our floor plans for the live works, we have two of them. This one's about 1,500 square feet. As you can see, the commercial space on the bottom, the kitchen and living on the second floor with a balcony, and of course the bedroom up top. This is the biggest unit that we offer. And it was actually the first one to go, this floor plan. Many people asked about this specific floor plan. Now jumping on to the complete other end of the spectrum here, we have two of these floor plans, which were the next ones to go after, 842 square feet, commercial space in the front, residential living in the back. The cool thing about this unit is it can be used fully commercial. So we do have the storefront obviously in the front, and then the residential entrance in the back, but this can be 100% commercial, which is a nice touch. Now jumping on to our poolside residences, as you can see here, a bit what I was talking about before about really maximizing the interior finishes. As you can see here, quartz countertops, nice tall ceilings, nice stainless steel appliances, and a nice backsplash in the kitchen. Again, another rendering. This specifically is our 1-bedroom flat on the first floor. As you can see out that sliding door, there is the pool. So this one would be facing to the pool. Again, this is going to be our smaller unit. You'll be able to see that in the floor plan, but we do feel like with our 5 different residential floor plans, we do give different living options and of course pricing for somebody interested. Okay, let's jump into the residential floor plans. There's 5 of them. Don't get confused with the letters, even though there's a lot of letters. Our A, B, and C floor plan will all be 2 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. So if we look at the A here, everybody has their private entrance coming up to the kitchen and living area with a balcony. And then upstairs is going to be 2 bedrooms, their baths, walk-in closets, frameless walk-in showers. So it's a nice setup and about 1,450 square feet. The main difference between the A, B, and C perspectively is going to be that the A are the corner units. The B are going to be the interior units, and also the C is another interior. So it's pretty much location and a slight difference in square footage. Again, as you can see on the map on the bottom left, our Bs are located still on the top floors, but in the middle. And our C unit, this one is slightly different to the A and B because it has no balcony configuration. Hence, it has a little bit more square footage on the inside, which means an added space in the kitchen and living area. So this is a real neat unit, and it has some view of downtown New Braunfels as well. Last 2 floor plans for the residential is our F. This is going to be a 1-bedroom loft, 1.5 bath. We currently offer 4 of them, about 1,100 square feet. This is a great floor plan. This is going to be on top of those storefronts. So for buyers who may not want to be on top of a business, that can be an argument. We tell them that the best option is to just be in the residential building if they don't like that. And lastly, RG floor plan for all the people out there who don't like stairs. We've gotten a lot of hate on the stairs. So we put in a 1 bedroom, 1 bath flat, 678 square feet. So obviously this will work best for a single individual. And we do offer 7 of these. Price point of these are going to be our most obtainable price is starting at $273,500. So we do offer an appliance package. Every unit will come with an electric range, a dishwasher, and a microwave, all in black stainless steel. We do have 3 interior schemes. Now with the schemes, it's interesting because they are preset, but we do offer for a small charge for a buyer to be able to pick which scheme they'd like. Right now we're about 50% sold on the project. So as that number gets closer to 65%, we're going to be running out of interior schemes, not giving people less options on the schemes. A few features in our condo community, we will have an Amazon locker, a Bradle box, which is a storage solution for our covered parking, and of course, Ring and Nest. I'm sure you all know what that is. So when a buyer comes and would like to schedule a contract appointment, we have a upgrade specialist who walks the buyer and of course the agent through potential upgrades such as a French door fridge, washer and dryer stacked, and other cool little gadgets like a safe, a wine rack, a smart lock, and the scent effect. And lastly, the meat and potatoes, the pricing. So of our 7 floor plans, 2 of the live work and 5 of the residential floor plans, like I had mentioned, pricing is going to range from about $275 to $400. We really accommodate every price point in between to make sure everybody has an option in our project. Our preferred lender is Amy Oler with Cornerstone. She's been doing condo lending for really over 20 years. So she knows the ins and out of condo regimes and associations. And our HOA dues are going to be between $300 and $325 per month. Now you may say, Liam, that's a little bit high. That could subjectively be right, but with everything that we offer in our HOA, we offer an insurance on the building, so exterior walls out, ground maintenance, the amenities are taken care of. We offer valet trash, landscaping, window washing, pest control. There's really a long list. So we feel that with that $300 or $325 HOA due per month, really our buyers are going to be very happy with the service that they get. So that's it for me. If y'all have any questions, I'll be happy to answer any. Yeah.
Yeah, Liam, I've got to thank you. Looks like a great place. Will any of these units be listed on the MLS?
So they will be. Right now, we're strictly in our pre-sale stage.
Sure.
So we do imagine the condos going live on the market in roughly about a month's time.
Awesome. Now it looks like a great, could be some great opportunities for not only young professionals, but even retirees.
Yeah.
Something that, type of development that we don't really have a lot of here in New Braunfels, but we're starting to see more. So, well, cool. Anybody else have any questions for Liam?
Yeah, Liam, I was just curious, who's going to be listing those properties for you?
So it's going to be myself. I'm the listing agent of the project. And my broker is Pure Gold Realty down in Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't mention that, but Liam is also an agent, realtor. So will they be listed on just ABOR MLS, or will you have them here locally with Central Texas MLS?
So yeah, so that I know of, I don't think we're going to do ABOR. I think we're going to do the San Antonio market and New Braunfels. So I believe is it 2 Rivers, or 4 Rivers, and
Yeah.
Sabor as well. So
Awesome.
you guys will have access to it. We do pay 3% commission to the buyer's
Awesome.
agent. And we have an on-site showroom in case you all wanted to come by and see more of the project. We have a showroom here.
Great. So if one of our agents, had a particular client that might have some interest, we could give you a shout already and potentially set up an appointment to bring them by.
Absolutely, yes. We have an on-site showroom right next to the construction. We leased back one of our units from our previous project, which is very similar to what we will have on the new project. So if you have a buyer, bring them by and we'll take good care of you guys.
All right. Good. Well, thanks, Liam. We appreciate you being here with us today.
Perfect. Thank you all. Have a good day.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. For anybody else have anything before we wrap this up? Anybody? Looks like we already lost somebody. I don't have anything else. Michael, you good?
I'm good.
All right. Well, y'all have a good day and let us know if you need something.
Good
Thanks,
to see
guys.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
See you guys. Bye.
Sounds good, man. Later.